We have in front of you the 17th edition 2023 Parker's Heritage release. 10-year rye cask strength, the oldest stated rye from Heaven Hill Distillery.
Yeah, we are very excited.
Very excited. We are the world's biggest Parker's fan. Like, my first son is going to be named Parker, and his middle name is going to be Heritage.
Wow, that's
good.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. My first son might already exist. So, special thanks to our buddy Tim for helping us get this bottle. You are a rock star. Yes, we drink what we buy. We do not flip. We drink what we buy. Look at that. See that? Another Parker's down. This will be our third Parker's we've ever had. Parker's double... Sorry, trash. We've had Parker's the Orange Curacao, which we got at the distillery. Parker's Double Barrel Blend, which we didn't get at the distillery. And then this literally dropped 4 days straight after we left Bardstown in Kentucky. So that was a bit of a heartbreak. Standing in line at Buffalo Trace waiting for our Blantons and Parker's Heritage, and you know you're not going to make it there in time.
Meanwhile, when we're at Heaven Hill, is larceny.
Larceny barrel proof, yeah. So
that's the game.
Yeah. It's what it is.
We ended up getting some anyway, so
2 days they dropped 2 days ago they dropped Old Fitz 10-year. Imagine having an Old Fitz 10-year. That would be very happy. But we got one. Here it is. Hopefully it's not extraordinarily good, so I don't try to chase down a backup. Pop. Here it goes. Yummy.
A little more.
Listen here, buddy.
That is I don't know what you got from the cork, but that is a nice nose on this guy.
I'm getting there. So there's his little book. Me and Frank have really been getting into ryes lately, so this is kind of exciting to try this 10-year rye. Ooh, I really didn't like that first nose.
Really?
At all. Give me a minute. I don't know what it was, but I got straight platinum vodka. That's probably just... There's probably so much flavor, my nose just exploded. That's probably all that happened. Whew. There's the rye. Okay. I can see the rye, but I'm getting a lot of ethanol on the nose.
If I go in really deep, I get it, but...
Yeah, if you stay on the outside, you get more citrusy. Light, dark chocolatey.
Get a little cinnamon.
Cinnamony. Some kind of other baking spice.
Yeah, it's a very spice-centered nose for me.
This is 128.8 proof, if I can remember correctly. 128.8 proof, 64.4% alcohol by volume. Beautiful green. Your favorite color is green, so
yeah,
this is cool. Yeah, I think this is a release that I think I've became so enjoyable of the Parkers. I'm so enjoyable. I just make up words as I go along. Stay in school. That I want to hunt down every year's release of the Parkers.
Wow.
I mean, even if I have to pay secondary for it, I might just to own it. Just because I really like the Parkers brand.
They are, so far, all of the Parkers we've had have been pretty good. They're, you look at a top-of-the-line premium allocated bourbon. This is one that has, we'll see if it keeps up its tradition of making itself worth that price point.
Yeah, we'll see right here, because a 10-year rye, MSRP on this is $178.99, I believe, so $180. It's $180, and it's aged 10 years. So you take $180 and you divide that by 10 years, you're basically paying $18 a year in the warehouse.
Sure.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So $18 a year, better than Michter's. Michter's you pay about $20 a year. Buffalo Trace is just, they're crazy. You pay like freaking $3 a year. So.
Usually the benchmark is like, $10 a year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the normal staple is $10 a year. At first I thought you were thinking benchmark whiskey.
No.
So, I think I'm going to take one sip of this, and then I think we should cut the video for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, and just let it sit.
Let it breathe.
Okay.
Because already, just from letting it breathe this much, I think I'm already getting more notes off of it. So let's go in for a true neck pour. People say neck pours aren't a real thing. I 100% disagree with you. I think neck pours are very, very much true. Kind of like werewolves. Cheers. Don't judge me. Yeah, man. Very spice and proof up front. But once you breathe that away, it really gives way to a nice herbal neck pour. Very warm in the beginning, very warm rye. Quickly moves away from the front of your palate, right to the middle of the palate. And I'm getting like warm oranges and citrusy, herbal. There's some kind of bitter chocolate in there. But then the sweet caramels really coat over everything. You really get that. It's like a wave on the beach, whoosh, of just vanilla and caramel sweetness.
Yeah, it's interesting the similarities. One of the big things with Parker's that this is doing again is the mouthfeel. Very full-bodied, very creamy coating.
Oh yeah,
whiskey.
It's almost like drinking like a maple syrup, like viscosity. You know, it's very.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as finishes go, this is almost like a whole different level because there is a finish, but then there's just this coating that's left on your mouth and your tongue.
It's crazy. It's like you took a shot of olive oil and swished it around your mouth and spit it out. It's still like very lubricated in your mouth. On your teeth, you can feel it in your teeth.
Yeah, so that for me, that had a lot of great flavor. The proof knocked me back a little.
Again, I think it's a very high proof rye, and I think it's the neck pour. I really think that'll open up very nicely. So we'll see. And do you have anything else to add? Sorry.
No, I think that we're good. We're gonna take a 5-minute breather. Let this just sit. We'll spare you the time. We'll do a little fast forward, and we'll come back and give it another sip. See if just letting it air out a bit can open it up a bit more for us.
So we said 5 minutes. We got distracted talking about balloon babies. If you know, you know. We were at almost 11 minutes. So let's see how this has changed in 11 minutes. Wow.
The nose, there's similar notes on the nose, but it's a little to a lot sweeter.
Butterscotchy.
Yeah.
Are you getting that butterscotchy kind of note?
Very creamy vanilla.
Yep.
Yeah, a little butterscotch.
Caramel, vanilla, butterscotch, all there. All the ethanol that I was getting in the beginning is pretty much gone.
I get like a nice chocolate pretzel in there.
Like a chocolate cover. Yep.
Yeah.
Can see that. Definitely chocolate for sure. Are you getting that kind of raisin note too?
A little, yeah.
Some kind of...
Yeah, raisin is good.
Raisin's a good one. Chocolate covered raisins. Have you ever seen those raisinets before?
Yeah.
Well, let's see how the taste is altered. He has been eagerly waiting this moment. Cheers. That has to be one of the most layered whiskeys. You get that? It's like rye spice smack in the head when you first sip it, but then it's like within like 5 seconds, it's just instantly gone in just the waves of sweet, buttery vanilla and caramels. That is so good.
Yeah, I mean, there's mellow whiskeys with a few nice flavors. There's really in-your-face whiskey with, again, a few nice flavors that come on a lot more strongly. There's whiskeys that have a lot of different flavors that mix together and blend in a really great way. And then there's Parker's.
Yep. It's just its own S-tier level thing.
It's not just the different flavors. It's not just how well they go together, but it's also the order and the timing. It's like a little perfectly orchestrated sip.
Yeah, I was very excited and at the same time very nervous about this bottle. because we are starting to get more into rye. So I just feel like we've just had so much bourbon that we're looking for something new. So I was very excited to try a rye offering from the Parker's Heritage brand. But at the same time, I was like, 128 proof rye, that's going to be a stinger. And it is a stinger for about 3 to 5 seconds. And then it's just like well worth it because it's just so. It goes from like ultimate spice to ultimate sweet. And it's amazing that it can do that. You know it's a quality rye when it can completely flop like that. There's one other rye that I can think that does that, and it's sitting right over to my right now. And it's just really high quality. 10 years, it's funny, rye doesn't seem to age like bourbon does to me. Like a 10-year bourbon tastes way older than a 10-year rye, I feel, anyway, but that's just me. How is this Parker's rye? I'm going to ask you first. Not so much giving a number yet, but I want you to compare it to the other two we've had, the double barrel blend and the orange curacao. Where does this fall within those other ones?
Well, somebody's a little stingy and doesn't let me have them too much. Well, I know what I would rate this, right? As far as the others, I would have to do it more side by side, especially since, right, so much of what I like about it is the mouthfeel, is a lot of the flavors they incorporate. So when I drink this, I'm reminded of the other Parkers, but in such a way only really of the similarities, right? The differences for me are a little harder to pick out over that much time. You have a bit of a better whiskey memory than me. I'm just kind of an in the moment guy. So what do you?
As much as I like to try new things, and I'm really trying to get into rye, bourbon will always be my guy. Like that little rhyme there. I will always be a bourbon head. I love bourbon, especially double barrel bourbon. I think the double barrel bourbon at 131.6, I want to say, or 131.2. I could be completely wrong. But that double barrel blend, Parker's Heritage, with the purple label, I think was the best, one of the best whiskeys I ever had in my entire life. Just the layers of flavor and complexity. It's one of those pours where after I drank it, it would stay in my mouth for 10 minutes. This one does that too. However, this one is shorter than that double barrel. The finish is long, the finish is lingering, but it does go away after like 2 to 3 minutes, I would say about. Whereas that double barreled really stuck with me. So I would put double barreled first, then this, then the orange curacao. And the only reason why I would put the orange curacao last is because it's definitely a very unique and more desserty pour. It's not something like I'd be like, oh, my second pour tonight, I'm going to go for the Parker's curacao. No, I have to be in the mood for that. Whereas these two, I feel, are a little more crushable. You can actually sit there and drink them. This gets me still on the amount of spice that first hits you. Granted, it's very quick, but just that first spicy sip, and maybe it's just the neck pour and not so much the rye, but that's what puts it in second place for me. Whereas that double barreled, I just get sweet maple notes throughout the whole entire thing.
Yeah, see, I don't. The spice was there, but it didn't ever bother me in this.
Yeah, to me, it's basically how fast can I pick up on the flavors, and for this, and I'm assuming it's just the neck pour. That's what I'm contributing it to. Is it takes a few seconds for it to actually start to taste flavors in my mouth and not just heat.
Sure, yeah.
I'm still gonna give it a 10 out of 10.
I was worried for a second that you weren't.
Yeah, no, I'm still gonna give it the perfect 10. I really like this, and I really think it's a very cool offering to have from the Parker's Heritage to be a rye and to own a Parker's rye, because this is only they have 17 editions. This is only the second rye they did. The other rye they did was a heavy char rye, I believe, way back a while ago. But it's cool to have this, the rye in the family now. So I'd give it a 10. I really like the flavors. The flavors at the end, after that neck pour spice, if you will, are extraordinary and very complex.
Yeah, I mean, Parker's for me is some of the best stuff out there from Heaven Hill, from any one period. Um, and this being a rye was not a detractor from that. It doesn't matter. It may be a rye, but they still deliver the same quality that I've come to expect now.
Anyway, special thanks to Tim again. Thank you, sir. You are great. He just knows how much I like the Parker, so he wanted to help us out. So he's a great guy. This video is dedicated to Tim. We can link all his information.
He's alive and well.
Yeah, no, he's alive and very well.
And thanks to Tim, I'm gonna put on-screen links to all of his social media. We're gonna have his here's Google Maps with his address, so you can go thank him personally.
Yeah.
Here's a photo of his car and his house.
His wife Sarah.
Yeah.
So, I'm Luke.
I'm Frank.
Stay in school.